Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport, the Barnes and Tony Show. Once again today. Anthony, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well, baby. Long night of streaming last night. Back at it again.
I think Shopley just rolled one off the green.
Oh my God, the greens were tough, dude. Not very forgiving.
You know,
at all, dude.
You can't trust those user design courses because I think, you know, they probably did a decent job of replicating Augusta. But I mean, I know the greens are tough too, but are they that tough?
I feel like no, dude.
Yeah, because I was. Because, like, you know what it is, too, though? It's tough because TPC Scottsdale, you know, that's out in the desert.
Yeah,
there's
flat.
no elevation compared to the Augusta there. But that was something. If you haven't caught it, it's 3.5 hours long of gaming, the show, a derby.
It's a good one, dude.
Game, 9 holes with me, Matthew, Michael, and Tony. You guys have to watch that one.
Yeah, dude, it was 2 derbies, really. We had the heads up derby to start off, dude, then the full 9, then the big derby, and then the quick 9 on the course.
I mean, I'm sure at this point, you know, there's stuff out there, you know, depicting everything, but probably the worst streamed hitting performance you will see on MLB The Show. Me, one hit,
dude.
Probably, I didn't look at the numbers, but 15 strikeouts sound about right?
Yeah, sounds about right. Probably more, honestly, because I think DeGrom had 12.
Yeah, so probably 17, 18. Such a shame. But, you know, a little quick on the trigger, Tony.
Yeah, dude. Hey, you know, with some time and maybe some practice, we'll get you in there, dude.
And we're putting it together for Madden next week.
That's going to be crazy.
Definitely looking forward to that. When was the last time you played Madden?
Oh, my gosh. Maybe junior year of college, dude. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I really don't mess around with the Madden stuff, especially because, like, I don't know. I feel like I was never really that great at it, and all my friends were really good at it. You know, like they're running no huddle, rush offense the whole time. I can't even change. I don't know. I wasn't privy with the, you know, audibles, the line of scrimmage. So, like, obviously, defense is good. It's just not a great time. But I mean, you know.
But is it something that you could see yourself enjoying with success?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still have fun, you know, like it's still cool to mess around with. So, yeah, absolutely. I still have a good time. Yeah.
And we were talking about this last night. Would you go with Brady or if you were picking your team?
I was picking my team.
I know Michael likes the randoms, but.
I know. I do. I guess I'm not really, like, you know, dedicated to one team, but I don't know. I'd probably stick around like New York. Probably go with the Giants.
You know what's nice just for, you know, having that ability with the quarterback going with the Ravens. I mean, you can just take off with Lamar every time.
That's a good point, dude. Yeah.
Solid defense, running game. So something to keep in mind for sure,
yeah,
Tony.
Dude. What about you? Are you going with the Jets or?
You know, so I still at the moment have last year's men. So it's tough to be the Jets, you know, no Garrett Wilson, you know, Breece Hall, all that. I know he's obviously out now. So I kind of like the randoms, honestly. I do.
Yeah.
I feel like, and also, I mean, it's just tough in Madden not having like a quarterback. I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I would imagine. I mean, Zach Wilson can't be more than like a 75, I would think at the most.
But yeah, love the randoms. I do the same thing when I used to play Chell a lot, NHL. Always randoms. Never pick your own team. Get out of town.
And what is it with NHL? Is the goalie performance, is that automated?
It is automated. You could like make it manual for yourself, but I mean that's
no one does that.
Yeah, no one ever does that.
How hard is it to score? I mean, I haven't played in a long time.
I would say the most recent ones, like the newer ones, it's definitely a little bit more realistic in terms of making accurate passes and stuff like that. So it's a little harder now for sure, but it's still very doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing. It's something you can pick up and kind of get a hold of it,
Yeah. No, I can't wait. I think maybe as soon as this weekend, I'll download the new NHL.
I know the new one must be sick. Matthew Gabriel, reflecting on the night that was, boys. A classic dope time for the fellas. Absolutely, dude. I mean, the pizza, the beer, the games. I mean, what more can you ask for, honestly?
Really. It seems like we are starting a tradition here, something that is going to have some stay power, Tony.
Oh, yeah. Whether we like it or not, Brian.
And he's talking about, what do you mean whether we like it or not?
Like whether we like it or not, it's staying. We're doing it.
But I'm saying, why don't we like it?
It was just like a joke, Brian. Why are you taking it so literal, dude?
Oh, he's throwing it back.
Yeah.
Matthew talking about the prison pack late night.
Dude, the late night prison
was
pack,
that
dude.
Possibly the favorite part of the night for you, or
no? Come on, dude.
No,
favorite part? No, it was obviously it was all my favorite part.
Hey, we did get Kawhi.
That's cool. I like that, dude. Yeah,
forced against your will, Tony. But yeah, no, it is awesome too with the Derby, with PGA having the ability for all of us to be playing at the same time. That's kind of awesome.
It is dope, and I know, Michael. The day we play 2K, it's going to be groundbreaking for him. Dude.
Yeah, no, it's going to be quite the struggle. I'm not expecting any heads up victories. With Michael, as Matthew says, Kawhi is high. Apparently, because he's not playing basketball.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But let's go now to the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
How about that throw?
Sam Darnold blasted! Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? In trouble once, brings him down. Lost one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down, touchdown!
All right, Tony. Week 10, beginning tonight.
Is it really?
And you would look at it on paper and you would say, boy, the Falcons, the Panthers.
Matthew agrees. Game tonight sucks ass. He says.
But like I said, you would think that, but then when you break down the individual talent on the field, there's some stuff to keep an eye out for. The first being the Falcons here with a victory. Sole possession of first place in the NFC South.
Crazy.
So they obviously have a lot to play for. And for a guy, I mean, obviously when he first came into the league, being the number 2 overall pick, there was a lot of hype for Marcus Mariota. Now, of course, he had a couple years as a backup, injuries, poor performance, all of that. People have kind of, taking their focus off of him, but I feel like me and you are 2 of the bigger advocates for him. I mean, you would like to see Mariota lead the Falcons to the playoffs. Imagine upsetting someone, winning a playoff game. I mean, listen, I think he has ability, and I think we're seeing that this year. Arthur Smith, very creative, came from the same organization as Mariota, Tennessee, with the play calls, and they got some talent on this team. Cordarrelle Patterson, rookie running back Tyler Algier. Second-year tight end Kyle Pitts. So he definitely has options to throw to. What have been your thoughts as far as the Falcons this year? I mean, we've seen them the previous couple of years with Matt Ryan really struggle, but they feel different this year.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, and I think it does start with Mariota, honestly, because he's a mobile quarterback, and I think that's where a lot of his success and some of the Falcons' success starts with him. Obviously, he's your quarterback, but him kind of having that, I guess, like 2-tool, type of athlete, type of quarterback here, keeps defenses on their toes when he can just kind of take off and have a decent run here. I think, we've seen some games where he's a little inconsistent. We've seen him throw a few interceptions in some games. We've seen him have, games where he's really hitting the long ball quite nicely. But then we're seeing games where, he has like 140 yards or something, maybe passing with 1 TD. So I think that, him being a little bit more consistent, maybe week in and week out, can kind of, honestly, I think elevate the Falcons play just in general. I know they're with a win tonight, they'll be at 500. You said, having leadership in the division here, that's huge. And I think this is a team that's gonna, I think, grow as the season progresses. And if they allow themselves to, they could be, like you said, maybe upsetting a couple teams here in the playoffs.
Yeah, and somebody looking from the outside in would think this is crazy, but I think they're a far better team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Top to bottom,
yeah.
Obviously,
all around.
Brady, the advantage of quarterback. But one thing they really do well, and obviously Mariota contributes to this, is running the ball. You look at it as a team; they've had 300 carries this year, running for 1,466 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and 11 rushing touchdowns. Mariota himself, 5 yards a carry, 300 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He's played 9 games. So you do the math, that averages out to, maybe 5 touchdowns, around 550, 600 yards rushing. And then you combine that with efficient quarterback play. I know he's not throwing for 300 yards a game, but he does have 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a rating of 90. So I think, as we've seen, and why he's not the starter in Indianapolis now, this is an upgrade for them over Matt Ryan. So I think it is working out quite well. And then one other guy that I forgot to mention, when we're talking about skill players, is first-year wide receiver Drake London. Numbers don't pop off the page just yet. I think he was dealing with some injuries earlier in the year. He's healthy now. He's a guy here in the second half that could really go off. That big body receiver from the University of Southern Cal. So all in all, I definitely like this Falcons team. And I think the key for them too, I believe in their offense. The defense just has to play better. And it's kind of interesting, you look at the way they're handicapping this game. The total right now is set at 42. The last time these two teams played, I know it went to overtime, but they combined for 71 points. So they're expecting quite the regression here. And obviously, I'm sure a big part of that is PJ Walker at quarterback. He's been very inconsistent this season, but the Panthers were in position to win this game last time, and had some things not go their way, missed kicks, helmets off, all of that. So, I mean, do you feel that this is going to be another, because that was, a very good game to watch last time, a very exciting,
high scoring.
Are we in for round 2, or do you think now, there's tape on both teams, and the Falcons, despite being on the road, should be able to handle them? I mean, the line a little sketchy at 2.5. I know they're on the road, but the Panthers, just from a talent perspective, you don't feel like much of it is there, as Michael checks in and says, let's go.
Let's go!
I know right now he's at home playing 2K23.
Oh, yeah.
Filling out the greens.
He didn't go to bed, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just played all night.
All night long, dude.
But what do you think, Tony? I mean, what are we looking at here? Is this going to be a good game?
No, honestly, I think Atlanta has the blowout here, honestly. I mean, maybe Carolina. I mean, Walker, I just can't see it. I really can't. I think Mariota, we mentioned him, obviously, multifaceted athlete here. Their running game very solid, starting with him and their running back. London, that wide receiver you mentioned. I mean, I think they could be very dangerous against a Carolina team here who I feel like hasn't really defended very well. They're just coming off a loss from Cincinnati, giving up 42 points. Before that, it was, Atlanta, in Atlanta here, giving up 37 in a loss in overtime. And then before that, Rams, 24 points, lost to San Francisco, 37 points. They did have that win against Tampa Bay, 21-3. But I mean, Tampa Bay is in a weird spot right now. I feel like Atlanta, looking at this divisional lead here in the eye, I think they're going to step up big time offensively. And I think their defense is step up too. I think, was it Rashad Evans is their linebacker, who's leading the team in tackles right now. He's pretty solid, honestly, and he is all over the field at times. They have a young defensive end too, who I forget. I think he has like 5.5 sacks in the season here. I think, Carolina's offense is going to run into some trouble here. They give up a lot of points during the season, and I think that you're going to see something like that, honestly, again tonight. like I said, it's whether or not Atlanta's defense can step up, and I think they will. And I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be kind of ugly. Something that we saw the Panthers play in San Francisco, where it's like a 37-15 game here.
You wanted to make it exactly on the total, so nobody could win.
37-15 would be what, 40?
Oh, 37-15 would be 52.
It would be 52.
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. So
haha.
Now, in your eyes, I know it's kind of a tough question. More of a lock here, the total going over or Atlanta covering the 2.5?
Oh, wow, interesting.
Two bad defenses.
Yeah, total going over.
Yeah,
more of a lock for sure.
And it is kind of interesting too. Last time these teams played, and I know, we speak to the struggles of PJ Walker and the Panthers in general, especially their offense. But Walker threw for over 300 yards. Deontay Foreman ran for 118, and DJ Moore, the guy who caught the touchdown, took off his helmet, missed extra point, all of that, had 159 yards receiving. So they were able to move the ball. Obviously, last week was a little deflating because of the fashion that they lost in. So it definitely is going to be interesting. But for me to, because I usually like going heads up with you in these situations, I can't take the Panthers.
Yeah, I know.
Interim coach, PJ Walker. I honestly think, just thinking about how this game, looks like it'll play out, I could see the Falcons halftime, 17-3. And then Sam Darnold out of the pen.
No way.
Leading him to victory. That's their only shot. I know PJ, like I said, had him in position to win last time. But the fact that they have all the tape now and just the experience of playing against them, I just think the Atlanta Falcons, with that talent gap, will definitely take care of business here. So my score for this one, I'm going to say 38-10. The Falcons blow them out. Total goes over. Marcus Mariota, 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing. And Kyle Pitts catches both of those touchdowns in the air.
It is pretty crazy. The last time these teams faced, Carolina really just should have won the game.
Yeah, and then remember they would have been in first place, and now they look at themselves. But
so ridiculous.
I mean, it's hard to argue though, just for the future of this team, and they've been trying for years now since Cam Newton left, and even tried to bring him back last year, and obviously we know that was a miserable failure. They would probably be better off losing the majority of their games here, get a high draft pick. This is a quarterback-rich draft class coming up. And, I mean, it's hard to say that Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, none of those guys are your future quarterbacks. I know they have Matt Corral, the rookie from Ole Miss, I believe. He's out for the year. But, I mean, I'd be hard-pressed. They finish, 3-4 wins that they're not going to take a quarterback first round. It's not worth to try to sneak into the playoffs, win the division, and then, you have a low draft pick, no future. The only guy that really to speak of is DJ Moore, in my opinion.
So just blow it.
Yeah. And get a new coach. They need a competent coach.
Rex Ryan?
No. It's tough because obviously Salah's working. But in your eyes, I just feel strongly this way. To really be successful, and especially if you want to grow with a young quarterback, it's hard to have a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Zach. I know Michael hates me saying that.
But look at him.
I just feel like you're better off with Mike McDaniel, with Arthur Smith, with Kevin O'Connell. Just obviously you got to make sure you don't hire the next Nathaniel Hackett either.
Who's the QB coach over for the Jets? Some no-name loser?
John Beck? I know that's his personal quarterback coach that they brought in last year.
Personal.
Well, they did, but remember Greg Knapp last year passed away on a bike accident. He was the quarterback's coach. Adam Gase. That's why I was laughing. But is it Jeremy Bates? Rob Calabrese. Never heard of him.
Got nothing.
So I'm looking forward to watching the game. I know, everyone thinks it'll be a snooze fest and that, but I think there's some talented players on the field, and it's always a treat listening to the legendary Al Michaels.
Oh, always is. Oh yeah, dude.
And then just around the league, a surprise, and I saw this when I was at the gym yesterday. This came out, they were talking about it on NFL Live.
Gym, dude.
Matt Stafford is now in concussion protocol starting Tuesday. Very odd. Like, did it happen in practice? Was this a late diagnosed concussion? I almost want to just check the article here.
You would think late diagnosed, right? Because Monday is probably an off day, right?
Right.
So Tuesday comes around, maybe he's not feeling well, headache, whatever.
Okay, so I guess McVay said yesterday, Stafford entered the protocol Tuesday after the team's medical staff did their cleanup after the game and determined that they felt like this was the best thing for them. He didn't have any indication during the game that Stafford was dealing with concussion symptoms. He said some of the questions Stafford was asked after the game by the medical staff, and then what they ascertained as a result of these questions made them feel like, hey, the appropriate thing for the person and the players in this instance is to put him in the protocol.
Interesting.
But, I mean, we think about that. The Rams obviously scuffling, that disappointing loss. Brady going crazy at the end of the game. Now they're 3-5. They do play the Cardinals this week. So you do feel like they are better than the Cardinals, but with a backup quarterback, give me the Cardinals. Despite it's so hard to count on the Cardinals.
I'll give you like guarantee Stafford not playing.
There's nothing is guaranteed, but and this is pretty weak, by the way. John Wolford is the backup quarterback. He infamously started a playoff loss when Jared Goff was in his last season with the team. Goff had a thumb problem, had to come out of the pen for that playoff game, and that was kind of what started the whole Stafford coming in. But I think they're in serious trouble if Stafford's going to miss his game. If this team has that in them. And I think the biggest problem is, I think they can get by with the other areas of their team, but and I guess that these two areas do coincide, but it's offensive line and running game. Mm-hmm. You cannot win and be a successful team, be a team competing for playoffs, competing for Super Bowls without a running game.
Yeah.
You have to run the ball. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a major problem.
Yeah, they're very one-dimensional right now.
Did
you kick out the fucking cable again? No, yeah, we're gonna do it. Put the
no. We're good.
We're good.
A little weak signal, but we're gonna switch gears in a second here anyway. So I'll reconfirm that, Tony. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh my goodness! Next to come right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
In overtime.
Do you believe the Oilers are in trouble without Kane for 3 to 4 months?
A little bit, yeah.
Because we saw the impact that he had when he joined the team midseason last year. That's so tough, and really hope that he heals up well. And that story you were telling me last night was crazy with the ex-wife.
I know.
Saying, thank God. Like, that is terrible.
Yeah,
that is despicable.
It really is.
So just something to keep an eye out for. Rangers will be back in action tonight, and we'll talk about them in a second. But kind of just running down the games from yesterday. One thing that surprised me, the Panthers, who have really struggled, and I've thought all along, not having Jonathan Huberdeau this year was just a huge loss and a tough spot for them to recover in. They go with Spencer Knight, instead of Bobrovsky in net, and he pitches a shutout.
I know.
A 3-0 victory over Carolina, so that's a tough one for Chokery. I know
Darien.
He's been a little upset, and yeah, he is from Darien, which is crazy. Maybe he's a future tender. Who knows? Antti Ranta did get the start, but here we go. The backup tender, losing the game here. But, as far as the scoring for the Panthers, Barkov, Bennett, and Cousins all with goals. Cousins in the first, and then Barkov and Bennett in the third period. What are your thoughts? And obviously they've shown, they have a competent backup tender, but, without without having Huberdeau this year and somewhat of an even start, now they're 8-5. just for Florida this year. Disappointing early exit last year.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like they have the pieces in place to have a great season like that again, but this time win in the playoffs, or do you think this is a team that's going to need to improve itself come trade deadline time?
I think they're going to need a couple pieces trade deadline. I mean, you look at the people who scored last night, right? Like Cousins last night. He's a guy who's been in the league for he's like 30 years old. He's probably in the league for like 9 years or something. But he was, I think, with Philadelphia. I think he got drafted by Philly. But then after a few years Philly, and then he was just like jumping teams every year. Obviously landed in Florida this year. I mean, I think he gets like 10 goals a season, but like maybe 20 assists. Like, it's not great. I mean, he has 30 points. I guess it's good, but I mean, that's not someone you can really be like, oh, could be a guy we can count on. Obviously, we know about Barkov is decent. Bennett, a little bit of a young guy here. He came over from Calgary, I guess. He's 26, so he's youngish for the league. Came in when I think he was probably like 2021 to Calgary. You look at some of his stats. I mean, his first full season, 18 goals, 18 assists. That's pretty solid, but production just kind of dropped until last season with Florida. 28 goals, 21 assists. I don't know how much you can really rely on him to have that season again. That was that was his best season of his career. In his like 10th season here, or let's just say 8th, I guess. And then I don't know. They have Eric Stahl on the team. He's
still playing.
Yeah, exactly. It's someone who should have retired like probably like 5 years ago.
Kind of like Halak.
No, but yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think they're gonna need some improvement down the line here. A lot of their defensemen aren't really that offensively, I guess, sided. They also have another Stahl brother. They have Mark Stahl on the defense here. He's a great, solid defender, but he's going to give you no offense. He's going to have no goals for the season. I guess Gustav Forsling. He's again great defenseman, but he can probably work some puck movement on the blue line. But you have a defense that are great defenders, but they're kind of one-sided in that aspect. So I think they're going to need definitely. Honestly, I'd probably go for a forward at that point. Someone, the trade deadline. I guess we'll see.
Kane and Taves.
Kane, yeah, I know. You always go back to Kane and Taves. Obviously, they're going to be hot for the trade deadline because obviously it doesn't look like Chicago's going anywhere. I'm sure they're going to want to dump off both Kane and Taves here. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, they're still a great team. They're going to be contending, but again, maybe they'll do well in the regular season. But if they don't make many, trade acquisitions here, they're not going to go far at all in the playoffs.
And in your eyes, basically, because that's where the money went, swapping out Huberdeau for Chachuk, was that the right move?
I mean, it's always tough to say like what's the right move or not because you gotta look at obviously if Huberdeau didn't want to be there, he doesn't want to be there, right? I suppose if they can come to an agreement. Chachuk, great player. But yeah, I don't know. I guess time will tell. It's a tough one, dude.
Just because the fact I feel like, obviously Chachuk had more goals, 42. I think Huberdeau was only in the 20s last year, but had like 80. Did he have 80 assists or something ridiculous like that?
We can look it up right now. It was, I don't know about 80,
but I just feel like kind of he impacts the game more. Chachuk, 42 goals last year, 62 assists. Actually, I really think it is 80. What does that sound like? Almost like a record to you, or no? 80 assists.
Let's see here.
I'm actually pulling it up myself.
85 assists he had. Led the league, obviously. I'd be interested to see. It's probably not a record, but it's probably the highest you've seen in recent times for sure.
Obviously, Chachuk too, 5 years younger, as well, so they get the youth on their side. It's kind of interesting too that like. They switched team like this. You would think it was a trade, but they just signed in free agency. So he had 30 goals last year. Chachuk, I think, had 62 assists, but 42 goals. And I mean, looking track record wise too, before the 85 assists last year, Huberdeau, his career high was 62. Plus, this year at 11 games, he's only had 5 assists.
Yeah, it's not.
So that might have been, lightning in a bottle last season.
Maybe.
So you could argue maybe Chachuk is better.
Yeah, it is interesting. And, he is, I I honestly thought he was injured. It looks like he has serving a
Suspension,
2-game
high
suspension
stick.
for.
Come on, though. This is hockey, though. I always thought the high stick was crazier. You think it would just get dangerous if we didn't have high sticks?
Oh my God, no, yeah, you need to have a high sticking penalty for sure. I'd honestly be interested to look at this video.
Oh, of what?
Of the high stick. Of course, this video is minute 33. Of course, it's like NHL, and there's an ad. Oh, this is no good. Oh, I don't know, man.
You think it was a BS suspension?
It was a high stick on Jonathan Quick. I don't know. It's tough. I can show the video here too if you want.
Yeah. Let's pull it up. And just while you're doing that, I just wanted to run down the other scores from last night. So we saw the Canadiens, who've been off to a great start this year after a terrible start last year. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with proper leadership in place with head coach Marty St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
5-2 over the Canucks last night. Doc with 2 goals as they win that one. We saw the Penguins, who had been really scuffling, get that all-important victory over the Capitals. Casey DeSmith drawing the start, 24 saves on 25 shots. So the Penguins move to 5-6-2. And then the Wild actually step up, win a game. And if they go with Gustafsson instead of Marc-Andre Fleury, so they win that one 4-1. So, I mean, I think that was big for them. Kaprizov had 2 goals. So it'll be interesting to see Minnesota moving forward. You know, do they do a timeshare goalie, and will they contend for a playoff berth? That's a question that's going to have to be answered. Do we have the video, sir?
We do have the video up here. This is going to be
high sticking on Jonathan Quick.
I can kill this guy's audio. You're going to see Chalk top of the screen come in 23. Oh, what? Okay, never mind. All right, here he is. Left side of your screen. Sorry, right side of the screen. Comes in absolutely just like, for whatever reason, I guess just kind of slaps Quick in the head here. You're seeing it, and then ooh, dude, right there. And you see like right here, you know, he thinks he's being a little sweet, a little cute. You see his head looking like, oh man, I'm not looking that way, but in reality, dude, he knows exactly what he's doing. Again, here he comes. Bang. Look, see his head? Peripheral vision right there. He's looking at Quick. He sees Quick. He sees his stick, okay? Flat of his stick here at Quick's helmet. You're going to see Chuck. Oh, look, I'm looking away now. And let me just give it a little in the face mask. And, of course, I mean, Quick saw that. His reaction, look, there it is again, right up in the face mask of Jonathan Quick. You know, Jonathan Quick here, obviously veteran goalie. Another, you know, Connecticut product here in the NHL. I suppose Connecticut's cool. But look at that. You know, like the blade of the stick right in the mask. Again, Quick recognizes that, gets his head out of there, and you see that he just kind of fucking falls to the ground, dude. Ow, my eye, whatever. Veteran move by him. Gets the attention of the refs here. That is a pretty blatant, egregious penalty by Chuck. You know, we do know Chuck Matthew here has a great gritty style of hockey. This is hockey. He is a gritty player here. But I mean, there's no place for this, Brian. Again, I'm showing the people here at home. Thank you very much, Michael. Wow, teasing me.
Was it by accident, Tony?
No, complete. I was giving them the rundown right here. You know what? Right here. I'll pause this video, Michael. Okay, you can't see over here. But you can see Matthew Chuck here, 19 down the right side of your screen. 2-game suspension for a blatant high sticking call on Jonathan Quick, Connecticut native. I think Matthew Chuck hates Connecticut people, honestly. But no, you see him. Here's the blade of his stick at the face mask of Jonathan Quick. And you see Chuck clearly in the eyesight. He knows what's going on. And he thinks he's being cute because you see right here, now he's like, oh, my head's turned. I'm not looking. Like, they don't know. No one's going to notice. But in reality, he gets the blade in the face mask of Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick reacts, you know, accordingly. And there's your 2-game suspension right there, dude.
Wow.
So that's blatant. It's unfortunate from Chuck. Obviously hockey's a gritty sport like this. Any chance you can get, especially against the goalie, you want to rattle his cage a little bit. This type of cheeky play happens over time. I would say stick blade inside the face mask into the face and eyes. That's kind of tough. And obviously, the refs recognizing that 2-game suspension. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you going to do? Huge, Tony, huge slate tonight. I believe 10 games.
Oh yeah, buddy.
And obviously we missed you yesterday, but I updated everybody. 5 points for me, 3 points for you. A little bit of a rough time out last time, but a lot of games to choose from today. 4 picks each. And as always, we're going to start with a Rangers preview here, and I'm sure you'll take them. But before we do that, Tony, I know we've kind of beaten the dead horse here. The Rangers disappointing start, and you didn't get to speak on the collapse last time out against the Islanders, and just seeming, I think it's 3 games in a row that they've lost to the Islanders now. But just in terms of why what's happening is happening, and I know it's never one thing,
right,
one person, but if you had to say who deserves the lion's share of the blame for their disappointing start?
Defense.
The whole defense.
The whole defense, not one specifically.
Jacob Trouba, I mean, he's the captain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And, we've seen some sloppy puck play from him. But, you look at these last few games specifically. I mean, the Islanders, right? I think we had not only no offense in the third period, but we were giving up goals in the third period late. I think Keandre Miller had a stupid penalty. All of a sudden, now, Islanders on the power play unit here. That totally halts our game. You can't give up stupid penalties. You have to skate well on defense. You have to be at your mark. You have to defend well. It's when you're on your heels, you're kind of reaching to defend a player. That's when penalties get called. Before that, Detroit defense totally blew it. We had that 2-0 lead. Defense blown assignments. Detroit's in the game, forced the overtime, we lose. And of course, Boston, same thing. Late in the game, it's tight. We're tied up with Boston here, and then they just kind of open it up. Third period, we lose 5-2. You have to keep the defense tight. I don't know if they're tired because it is late in the game here. A lot of times, when you do have bad penalties called on you, it is when you're tired, when you're not skating hard enough. So, I think defense has to step up hugely here tonight. Again, you look at the game here. It's our second time facing Detroit. We're in Detroit now. Last time was the loss at home when we played Detroit, and that was that game where it was Halak was in net. It was the not Halak's fault they lost game. So obviously, you look at tonight's game, Shesterkin, who is unconfirmed,
and
there's
I
no
want you to
reason
continue. I want you to continue, but I just have to ask you this because you were talking about it. If for whatever reason, because it is unconfirmed and we've seen them pull this stuff before, if Halak starts, will this be the first time that you finally agree with me that's absolutely ridiculous and there's no place for that if he starts this game tonight?
Off day, I think
you're reeling. Yeah. You need a victory.
No, yeah, I think that it would be ridiculous. I understand, Shesterkin isn't anywhere near what he looked like last season,
but he's better than Halak.
But yeah, he's better than Halak. He is giving you better chances to win.
Yeah.
That is for sure. But Shesterkin obviously disappointing, season start here. We talked about how he's been giving up 3 goals a game left and right, it seems. And this is a guy who was, going for the record of best save percentage, last season. So, he has to step up for sure. But again, you can't always blame your goalie. I am standing by the fact that, Rangers defense has just been completely lackluster. And yeah, dude. So you look at tonight's game, like I was mentioning, Detroit. This is a game that should have been in the bag for the Rangers. The last time they played them, unfortunately, that overtime loss, the blown defense. I would imagine they've been skating a lot in their few off days, doing a lot of sprints, a lot of conditioning, because there's just absolutely no excuse to be not conditioned well enough to be playing this game, especially in hockey where things can happen so quick. It's games are won and lost within the last 10 minutes in the third period. That's when games are won or lost. And you have to be just in tip-top shape for it. There's no excuse. Defense has to be grittier, be careful with with giving up penalties. And then on top of that, our power play unit should be, a shoo-in for a goal. Against the Islanders, we were not. And normally it is. Normally it's very good. But, we have to take advantage of the opportunities given to us. Again, no excuses for not finding the back of the net when you're a man up here. As long as you skate hard coming out the gate, Detroit's going to be back on their heels. They're going to be giving up penalties. You're going to be getting goals. They're really, like I said, no excuse here. Rangers have the talent. They just have to want it, and it's kind of a shame that it comes down to that because the professional hockey players are getting paid lots of money to play a game that they obviously love. So it's like, why should me, Tony, be telling you have to want it? Fucking figure it out, dude.
And your prediction?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rangers win this one 4-2.
And also, I mean, just to add, as we used to say, icing on the case here, Novak Djokovic in net here. How do you say his name? Is it
Novak Djokovic?
No, because if you
that
look at
would be the
site,
dude.
The end of it is like it's their backup goalie. Husso is the starter. How do you say
Djokovic?
That?
No, stop it, dude. He doesn't have.
Yeah,
no,
I can see it. He'd probably be
dude.
better than
He's
Shesterkin,
too
honestly.
skinny. He's too scrawny looking, bro.
Yeah, the Rangers should look into it.
No. Was he 40 years old?
But I want a pronunciation out of you, Tony.
Pronunciation?
Needle Djokovic?
It's definitely Nadal. It could be Djokovic, but that's crazy.
Djokovic.
Nadal.
What's his first name?
Something with an A here. Alex Nadal Djokovic.
Okay. I'm looking at Hockey Reference because they always let's see, Hockey Reference pronunciation here. So they are saying it is no pronunciation. Oh, okay. Alex Nedeljkovic, which doesn't make any sense.
Shutdown line.
Nedeljkovic.
I would describe this for you, but we all just saw it. Nedeljkovic looking to bat it away himself.
Djokovic.
It's an own
Nedeljkovic. But backup tender, Tony. No excuse. That's it. Yeah. I don't want to hear anything.
I mean, we just literally saw him play a puck into his own net. So think about that.
There is no excuse. The money line is set at -160.
Nedeljkovic.
Right, so I'm watching this game, by the way. I am 100% watching this from start to finish.
Let's fucking go, dude. Yeah, now no Husso. Let's go, dude.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. There's no way that they should lose this game. So for my first pick, I'm gonna go to a place where I've gone quite often recently, and I'm a little nervous. I have to admit, a little nervous just because
Knights?
No. The Coyotes have been red hot. And obviously they're heavy dogs here again. Islanders -290. I really want to go to this game, but also I want to watch the Rangers. So guess that puts that out the window. But tell me, Tony, that wouldn't be a class on goaltending watching Sorokin versus
Vejmelka. Oh yeah, dude. You're really gonna you're taking the Coyotes.
I'm taking the Coyotes, and I would imagine, I'll look it up at some point, but them +1.5 has to be around even, maybe -110, -115. That's probably the smart play. The one thing that I do feel good about is the Islanders have been so hot. And I know I said the Coyotes have been hot, but I think the Islanders have won even more games in a row. So it just feels like they are kind of due for that. Both goalies unconfirmed. So one of them not starting will completely throw this game, in a different direction.
Vejmelka has to be starting, I would imagine, dude.
Yeah, because this is a big test for the Coyotes, and I think we'll see firsthand why they are going to make the playoffs this year. And maybe that pushes along the legislation for the new arena in Tempe. But I'm going to say in an absolute duel, Tony, an all-time classic, like we were watching Marty Brodeur and Patrick Waugh, 2-1 Coyotes in overtime. Clayton Keller, both goals. Both goalies, 40 saves. What do you think about that?
That is crazy, dude. Fuck, wow, dude. Coyotes.
No, but right?
Gotta get you a jersey this year, I think,
you're
dude.
seeing
Of course.
You are seeing it.
I am seeing it, dude. I'm also seeing my next pick. The 10-3 New Jersey Devils at home Prudential Center. They're hosting Ottawa Senators here, who have had actually an absolute horrific start to the season. They're 4-8. I think they're on like a 5-game losing streak. And New Jersey, Ottawa, we talked about their offseason acquisitions, trying to make a name for themselves as a decent contending Canadian team here. We're seeing them, do the opposite of basically what New Jersey is doing, which is, New Jersey's doing really well. I mean, they're 10-3 on the season. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They just beat Calgary back-to-back games. Before that, Edmonton. Before that, Vancouver. Obviously making minced meat of our neighbor up north. And I think they'll continue to do so tonight. I don't think Ottawa has a leg to stand on in this game. You look at some of the scoring that they've had in the past few games. Yeah, they've been scoring. Vancouver 4 goals. They lost 6-4. The defense blowing assignments here. It seems like any chance they have to win a game, they end up just blowing it and giving up way more goals than they can get. So give me New Jersey here. I'm going to say higher scoring game for sure. I'll say they win 5-4. New Jersey. Let's go.
Wow. The pandemonium is in the Prudential Center right now.
Crazy.
So for my next pick, I'm going to go with, it seems like there's so many teams that were in the upper echelon of the league last year and have just, for whatever reason, not been able to put it together this season. So I'm going to go with the Avalanche. Gorgie unconfirmed, but I would imagine he draws the start here. My hit and miss history with the Predators, but I just feel like the Avalanche are too talented. I think they're about to go on a big run here. And I think Gorgiev, the Avalanche traded a lot to acquire him. And I think he's out to prove himself. The Rangers put him to the wayside, get rid of him, go with Shesterkin instead. And I think he's determined to show that was a mistake. And I think we're going to see signs of the team that we saw last year in terms of the Colorado Avalanche here. Maybe Nathan McKinnon has a goal, and I mean, they have so many different guys on the team that could score. That's the biggest thing, because if you're so one-dimensional and just reliant on one part of your game, it really puts you out there, to be exposed. And while, I mean, I'm sure they would have hoped for a better start. I mean, 6-4-1. I mean, they haven't exactly buried themselves. So looking at that, looking at how I feel the Predators are a joke and not really a contender in this league, I'm going to say Avalanche here. Great game from Gorgie. Blow out the Preds here. Let's call it 6-2.
Love it, dude.
Rantanen with 2 goals as well.
Nice, dude. I do enjoy Rantanen. My next pick here, I'm going to go back to the well I've been in for a while now.
Oh, jeez.
The Bruins at home. You talk about a team, that's right now second best record in the league, behind the Golden Knights. Bruins at 11-2. Knights are at 12-2, so they just have 1 game up on them. So, but nonetheless, you're talking about a team that kind of had a slow start, but not necessarily, I guess, out of it yet in the Calgary Flames. We talked about them just losing back-to-back to the Devils. I think this is a team that's really, missing their big piece from last season, obviously. We know they have Kadri, but we talked about it. It's, kind of trying to replace one player with 2 players. Something doesn't always work out, and I think it's going to be some time for them to get chemistry to going. I talked about the reason why they would lose against the Devils is because the Devils' speed. And, with a team that's not exactly right yet in terms of, knowing their own players, their teammates, you have a fast team coming at you. It's going to be, tough to defend that. And I think that's what they're going to have again here against Boston. And Boston is better doing, playing the speed game than the Devils are. Not to mention, the Bruins are way more physical as well. Unfortunately here, I think it's going to get a little ugly for Calgary early, especially when you look at the goaltending here. Markstrom unconfirmed yet, but he's 4-3-2 on the season. Obviously not boding well in overtime, but average goals against is just a tick below 3 with an .893 save percentage. So, I mean, his team gives up shots, he gives up goals. And on the other side of it, for this goaltender matchup here, you have Lars Ullmark, again, unconfirmed, but 9-1 in the season, having a shutout. Goals against just a tick above 2 and a .932 save percentage, the best save percentage in the league right now. He's been on fire since the start of the season, and I really cannot see Boston slowing down at all at home tonight. Give me Boston here. I guess I'll say 5-1.
Yeah,
5-1.
I mean, hard to pick against Boston right now, and I'm just completely blanking. I know we just talked about the whole Huberdeau, Tkachuk,
Gaudreau.
Amazing, Tony.
Yeah.
The recognition right there.
Yeah.
So really, that's their top 2 guys from last year.
Yeah, top 2
and
guys.
Then they add Kadri and Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Michael, by the way, Blackwood, let's go. He says
he's pumped up for
the
Devils.
Honestly, I love that he's pumped for the Devils.
I thought Blackwood. Wow. No, you're gonna make fun of me, but
what
was he dealing with an injury?
Mackenzie Blackwood, he was.
Oh, but he's full. He's great. He's
totally fine now.
Okay.
4-2 in the season, 279 goals against, 880 save percentage, which is better than last year though. But I mean, Vanacek over there, his backup, the young guy, he's getting a lot of good looks here.
So you're almost saying, I know you're talking about Blackwood, but then you're saying you think Vanacek is better
right now. Yeah, I mean, look at he has a shutout. 915 save percentage. He's 6-1 in the season now because Blackwood was injured for a little bit. They should roll with him until further notice. Really, Blackwood really isn't that great. And I think one thing I mentioned to Michael when we preview the season was the Devils need a better goaltender, and they may have kind of captured lightning in a bottle here, Brian, with this young guy, the backup. So you never know.
I have a question for you.
What do you got?
How much would you drop on? I guess tickets, let's say with fees, maybe $70. The Jack Eichel revenge game in Buffalo. Let's say flights were $60, tickets $60. Are we headed out after the show?
Easily.
I mean, listen,
$60, honestly.
Buffalo, with the attendance, we know that's been a struggle, but do you feel like this is going to be the rare time that KeyBank Arena is going to be rocking tonight?
Absolutely.
I mean, diehards will come out.
Listen, I think diehards will come out. Buffalo, I think as a city, was distraught with the whole Jack Eichel situation. Obviously, the injury, the leaving upon bad blood. Him refusing to do with Buffalo medical staff wanted him to do with his neck. And then them forcing the trade. I mean, Jack Eichel was their guy forever. So I think Buffalo here, many guys on the team as well know Jack Eichel, like Kyle Akaposo, Olofsson, Dahlin, right? So they know some tendencies here. They could maybe sneak one past Vegas. It's going to be a tight game. You mentioned Vegas, best record in the league, but for sure it's going to be rocking, dude. I'm interested to see who you're going to take
in this. And I'm sure, when the schedule makers made, the TV schedule this year, they kept this in mind. This is a national game on ESPN Plus, Hockey Night in America.
Wow.
Tonight, the first game of a doubleheader. Tonight is amazing.
It really is, dude.
So the NFL, maybe they struggle with the ratings, right?
Yeah, fuck NFL,
dude. But also I did notice, Eric Comrie is usually their starter. They're going with 41-year-old journeyman Craig Anderson. Tony, do you know much about Anderson? I guess a longtime Ottawa Senator, had a cup of coffee with Florida.
Ottawa is really all I know about him. When he was with Ottawa, I think he was okay.
38 wins with the Avalanche in 2009.
2009, dude. Wow.
But what, I know you were saying tight game. I don't think so. Maybe a little nerves for Eichel early if the Boo Birds come out. But I think this is 6-1 Vegas. Honestly, Logan Thompson has looked like one of the better tenders in the league. And then you're going with Craig Anderson. I'm really shocked at Buffalo that they wouldn't want to put their best foot forward. They've been scuffling a little bit here after a hot start and, hoping not to fall into the, what happened last year here. But I think it's a complete blowout. And Jack Eichel comes home. Hat trick, Tony. Hat trick. Is there cheers in the crowd if he gets a hat trick?
No, booze.
Really?
Booze all around, dude.
Wow.
Bad blood. I'm telling you, he did not leave on good terms.
But you could argue, was it their fault they didn't want him to have the surgery? look at him. He's fine. He had the surgery. He wanted it. Why couldn't they do that for him?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a very precarious situation, but Buffalo, I know, was tight when he left. Very tight.
High and tight.
Yeah, dude.
So one pick left apiece here. Interested to see who you're, rounding out with here,
I know,
Tony.
me too. As we get to a comment, though, from Michael, he says, Devils, Rangers, Eastern Conference Finals. We are going. Let's go.
I mean, that's already it's already taken care of.
I can still handle it. Tickets may be fetching a little higher than $60,
so it might
though.
not be him just yet.
All right, so my last pick here. Ooh, buddy boy. I guess we were talking about them, and they're heavy dogs actually tonight. Chicago in LA. LA's minus 278. I'm gonna take Chicago here, to be honest. I mean, I understand Chicago, absolute horrific last 5 games. They did win against LA at home a couple days ago, which is actually, it was almost a week ago now. 2-1 in overtime, right? So I mean, that game, obviously pretty low scoring for both teams, especially forcing the overtime, but it was Taves in overtime. Taves does what Taves does, as they say. And that was, I believe, their backup. It was a backup tender situation for Chicago. But tonight, I think we have Stalock in net, unconfirmed right now, I believe. Just double checking, and I passed it. And Chicago. Oh no, Peter Mrazek, unconfirmed right now. Jonathan Quick, obviously
turning back the clock last time.
Yeah, dude, I think Jonathan Quick. He's had a tough couple of years. I think I know he has a shutout on the season, but he's 5-4 overall. His save percentage is under 900. Goals against is a tick over 3. To be honest, I know Mrazek hasn't been impressive at all if he does start this season either. I mean, he only has 2 starts so far in the season. Chicago is another situation, another team that has a really horrible goaltender situation. It's just, obviously, they've had a tough few years. I forget Campbell, I think was his name. No, Crawford. Crawford was their goaltender for a while.
So, during the championship years? Okay.
Yeah. Injury, though.
Corey or no?
Corey Crawford, yeah.
Okay.
Could never come back from injury. They had Marc-Andre Fleury for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. They have a horrific goaltender situation. That's something you definitely look for them for trade deadline acquisitions. But nonetheless, I think tonight, Taves and Kane take command of this game. LA, I know they're at home. They're 8-6, have a better record, a better track record in the past 5 games as well. And Chicago only winning 1 of the last 5 games. LA winning 3 of the last 5. Of course, 1 loss being in Chicago, but they beat Minnesota 1-0, beat Florida 5-4 here. St. Louis, they beat 5-1. So they showed that they could score. But I don't know. I just think, minus 278. I don't know, dude. I just think that's an absolutely ridiculous line. Something's fishy here. Give me Chicago. With some offense here, I'll say they win. Tight game. I'll say 4-3 in regulation.
Interesting. Last pick. I know you're going to love it. Tortorella fever, baby.
Let's go.
The Flyers turning back the clock like Jeremy Roenick is still on the team. Carter Hart unconfirmed, but I imagine they go with him.
Good goalie.
Here they are, going against Columbus. I just not a believer in Columbus.
Tortorella used to coach there, dude.
Yeah. And
Johnny Gaudreau, though.
And please. I just feel like this should be a no-brainer. And Columbus somehow favored. And they're going with Korpisalo in net from Finland, 28 years old. 1 start this year, gave up 5 goals. Not sure what the logic is there. Maybe they're anticipating Carter Hart to be given the boot from the starting net position. But nevertheless, the Flyers just all over have just been playing fundamentally sound hockey, doing all the little things right. And I think, their head coach has a big impact on that because we saw them struggle for quite some time. So I think this isn't even close, especially with Carter Hart, shutout on the road, 4-0 Flyers. And you look at, their offense this season, really a ton of different guys scoring up and down. But look out for D'Angelo. Look out for, is it Concy? Travis Concy leading the team here with 5 goals, 9 assists. They move the puck well. Hayes leads them in assists with 10. But this is going to be another dominant performance. And Tortorella, he's in a place he's not familiar with. There's no reason to rage out. He's just content with the way things are going. No expectations.
He'll find a way.
It makes it easier, though, right?
Oh, no, definitely. I think he seems very calm, cool, and collect over there.
Yeah. So what a slate we have tonight. Can't wait to talk about, the games from tonight, tomorrow. What I would like to do now, as we have a couple things left here, I want to give everybody an update on the PGA Tour event, but if you would, Tony, snag me a Prism pack.
Yes, sir, dude.
So, we mentioned, Shell Houston Open, just started this morning. And, just early underway, you think about the only the 1 hour time difference here. But at the moment, Lipsky, 4 under par, tied for second are McCarthy and Doe. And you go further down the leaderboard here, Jason Day, 1 under par, Molinari, 1 under par. So very, very early on, I had picked Tony Finau yesterday. I think he's going to feel comfortable in this environment. And just a little motivation after missing the cut last time out. But nevertheless, I think going to be a fun tournament to watch. And I think Scotty Scheffler has as good a chance of anybody to win it. I don't believe he's teed off just yet, but always has a dominant performance just around the corner. So, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. And yesterday they did announce too, Tiger Woods is confirmed. We already talked about the match that he's going to play in Florida. His tournament in the Bahamas, I believe it's in January. He hosts the tournament. It's a limited field, maybe 20 golfers, but he did confirm he will play in
Are you playing?
event. So really looking forward to that. But Tony, it is time for the Prism Pack Reveal.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right. Michael is fired up. We broke some rules last night, 2 packs and 1 earlier in the day. So I didn't realize there was actually 3 packs yesterday. So we're toning back here, and Michael says, glad I caught this. So let's go. We had some good pulls yesterday, but let's just get like a dominant picks here. And we are starting out on a good note. It prefers says his eardrums are blown. I don't know if it's from the Prism Pack Reveal.
Gotta be.
This is a dominance card. I'm not sure if we already have it, but Michael is going to be riled up. From the Phoenix Suns and the University of Kentucky, Devin Booker.
Oh!
So the dominance card, if we do have a Booker card,
there.
I don't think we have the dominance one.
Definitely
this
not.
is awesome. You could see the shine on it. Great selection here, so you love to see that. And taking it, this is, I don't know if we've ever had a better 1-2 punch out of the gate here. Started out at the University of Florida, drafted by the Washington Wizards, clearly the team leader now after the John Wall trade a few years back. Bradley Beal.
Whoa!
So Michael loves Beal. I don't think you could start out better. Booker and Beal. And for a third card after 2, all-star players going, this is not bad. This is a repeat card. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but we have had him before. From the University of Oregon, famously, having a feud with Coach K, now playing for the Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks.
Wow, dude.
1, 2, and 3. I think that's pretty solid. But for number 4, I have to honestly say, I have never heard of this player. I've never heard of where he's from. He's on the back. I'm going to just,
Where's he from?
We never do this. I'm going to read the full summary of what it says on the back of this card.
Yeah.
Hailing from Asgard, The powerful god Thor brings the thunder when he leaps into the fray with the mighty hammer Mjolnir. Hailing from Auburn, the forward Thor brings the thunder when he leaps through the lane and hammers home a mighty dunk. A guardian of the rim as well brings electric defensive ability to Charlotte. Everyone's like, what the heck are you talking about? And it's amazing. You would think I made this up and that would not be on the back of a basketball card, but it is. And Michael is laughing hysterically with some ha-has. But from the Charlotte Hornets, JT Thor. So definitely, hey.
Is that like a fake person?
It is not, but it is something that you learn something new every day. And he says, what the hell? LOL. You think Thor, you think Syndergaard, you think comics, but you don't think JT Thor. But honestly, with those first 3 picks, I think today was one of our most successful Prism pack reveals. Would you agree, Tony?
I would contest that.
The Prism pack reveal as preferred goes for the eardrops.
Yeah.
Which card was your favorite?
Why not go with Thor, huh, dude? Jeez. As Michael says, what a show, what a life. And actually, if we go back up to the top here, Preferred does comment, great gaming corner show from last night.
So, I mentioned it at the top. If anybody has missed that, it was epic. And it was just great to have this 4, referring to me, you, Michael, and Matthew and then in studio.
He does say good show today, guys, as well.
So, we're always going to appreciate the feedback from the one, the only Prefer. Supposedly, he will be in Connecticut on Saturday.
He'll be here on Saturday enjoying the Bridgeport Art Trail.
I don't know. I guess you did, but I'm just going to ask you if I've already asked you this question. My apologies. Your preferred being here percentage.
I don't think you have asked me, and honestly,
I said 0.00001%.
I mean, at least there's a chance there, I suppose, right? I don't know. I guess maybe 12%.
12%.
I mean, given the track record, given the travel of actually making the commitment to come out here, I mean, it's a little bit of a tall order,
Mm-hmm.
Would you not say just come out here? And I mean, you got to spend the day, you're not coming out here for 20 minutes and go back home. So, and it's Saturday, people have plans on the weekends. So I would say, 12%, 12%. Yeah. I'll stick it there, but always hopeful,
Yeah. And one little bite on the way out. And we are going to expand our coverage on the MLB offseason.
Is it a bite, Tony?
Once it gets going, and actually the Yes Network is starting with their hot stove episode starting on Monday.
So first, said say
100%, and he's real.
100%.
I'll buy him dinner. Michael's buying dinner.
I'll buy him dinner if he comes.
What do you want for dinner?
And he's real. Well, if he comes, he obviously has to be real, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
We'll go Sakura. Sakura was the idea.
Sakura
was the idea, dude. A little hibachi, dinner and a show.
So, what I was just gonna mention:
steak and shrimp,
something.
The noodles, the rice, the sauce. Brian dipping everything in the sauces, dude. The beast.
What I was just gonna mention on the way out here, Tony, Justin Verlander officially exercised that opt-out clause with the Houston Astros.
Verlander.
So he could have had $25 million on the table. He opts out, wants that multi-year security.
Yeah, Upton wants that money, dude.
1.75 ERA. Last year. Tony, where's he going?
Yankees. No, I don't think so. Although they do hire cheaters. But wow, Verlander, where does Verlander go? Honestly, I could see him stopping off at the Mets, dude. Obviously, he's pitched with Scherzer before as well in Detroit. They're pretty friendly, they're copacetic. The pitching situation in New York here in Queens is a little bit up in the air. I could see Cohen going to take a stab at Verlander. Yeah, Verlander.
But bringing in Verlander, is that assuming that DeGrom is gone?
That's not necessarily. I mean, it seems that reports about DeGrom staying or going has been very mixed, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man just wants to be paid, obviously, what he's worth. Which he's worth a lot. And you saw the Mets, shell out a lot of money for Scherzer, shell out a lot of money for Diaz. So it should be pretty interesting to see what what exactly he wants. I mean, he's probably going to want somewhere around what Scherzer's getting, I would imagine. And Verlander, you think Justin here takes a 1-year deal?
No,
definitely not. He's looking
3.
He's looking for a 3-year deal,
minimum 2.
All right. Well, I mean, I think it's doable for the Mets. I think that could be a spot where he goes. I could see him maybe going West Coast. Angels.
Potentially.
Think about it. Potentially Angels.
If Ohtani stays.
If Ohtani stays, maybe Padres as well. That would be crazy. A team that really needs him, I suppose. I don't know. I can't see the Yankees really picking him up.
I don't want him.
Yeah,
because I just think Yankees pick him up. It's
trash.
Gonna be when everything
Horrific.
just goes to shit
Yeah.
for him. So no, thank you.
Yeah. What do you think? Tampa Bay? Giants?
I guess the Angels do make sense.
Yeah.
They need pitching, so why not? I guess give me Anaheim.
Yeah, dude. I would be happy, honestly, if he goes to Anaheim.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Good for them, good for him. No?
Yeah.
Did you see the dig that Kate Upton made at Giselle, basically? After the World Series.
I saw something, but I didn't like.
She was like, they asked Justin about retirement in front of her, and she was like, "Oh, like his love is baseball. I would never take that away from him. Like, let him keep playing. I love him."
Kate Upton, though.
Stand-up lady.
Yeah, very stand-up, obviously. Great woman. But first says, I want Verlander to go to the Texas Rangers.
That is possible. The owner's a little antsy there.
And there was also talk about DeGrom going to the Rangers as well.
A lot of talk about that. So imagine having the top,
very crazy.
Them two at the top of the rotation. They could use the help. They have
Texas,
Martin Perez, surprising season last year, extension, all
sales
that,
tax, property taxes, no taxes.
Yeah, property taxes. And then the one thing too, just before we head out here, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson. I don't know if you saw that in the news, but basically it started with
the wrist thing.
Well, actually, I guess with Mr. Whatever, I don't even want to say it, but that whole thing, he said something about, "Oh, love you, Pete, but I don't need you," or something. And then Pete said, in an interview yesterday, I guess on the Pete Carroll show, I don't know, they were talking about
Unlimited.
But he said, yeah, with Geno, I think a big part of his success is he's wearing a wristband. In the past, there was resistance against that, but it's all on the wristband. He's really grasping everything well. Kind of went back to that point 3 or 4 times. So obviously, making a call out that, Russell Wilson, not kind of going with the flow and with the resistance to that. And then Wilson answered back saying, like, I think I'll be just fine. I had plenty of success there without a wristband. So just kind of interesting. But I mean, clearly Carroll has more respect here.
100%.
Unlimited.
He's getting results.
He's getting unlimited.
He's getting results. So yeah, of course
he is getting
fucking
results.
Geno Smith.
And not only is Pete Carroll getting results, but Russell Wilson looks like the world's biggest ass right now.
Big butt cheeks.
Big butt cheeks right now.
He's got Sierra. He's got $265 million. Does he care?
Dude, I think he does.
That's why he's not getting respect though, because he doesn't care.
No, I think he cares so much about his image.
Well, his image is pretty.
Did you hear what he did on the flight? On a flight,
yeah,
the stretching,
quads.
The high knees,
yeah, which is very dangerous to do on a plane. By the way, you don't jump up and down on a plane. Everyone knows that.
Well, they have powerful jets, Tony.
Oh wow, powerful jets. Yeah, dude.
You don't know. Man.
It is what it is.
I know about fucking jets, dude. What do you know about afterburners?
We know about the jets.
We do know about the Jets winning,
dude.
But
when
now, I mean, all I can say, I think, they are on a bye. But what I can say,
they didn't lose this week.
I think the perfect thing to sum everything up is what a day, what a life, right, Tony?
Yeah, dude.
Big night tonight, though. Big night. I think the football game will be fun.
Like
and they
finish on this puppy?
Matchups
Dude,
up and down. Who are the Devils playing again?
Ottawa. Dude.
Ottawa.
No,
okay.
No, yeah, Ottawa.
Okay. So they're playing.
Looking to sweep
Rangers,
Canada,
backs against the wall, playing in Detroit, and then we have
coaching change
in Long Island. We have the Islanders and the Coyotes, two of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah,
should be a fun one. And then we have the Jack Eichel revenge game in Buffalo.
Yeah, in Buffalo,
wow.
Vegas.
So hockey
Sabres,
dominating
and then you have
tonight.
Bruins playing Calgary. Calgary on a skid right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so an exciting night.
Very exciting
in
in the world.
So I'm looking forward to it. But I'm also looking
too,
forward to tomorrow, a football Friday.
Yes.
That's okay,
The frenzy. Always a fun time.
I'm looking forward to next week, dude. Madden. Talk about
Madden,
a frenzy.
Yo,
Mr. Madden.
I
Mr.
can't wait to
Madden.
play.
dude.
What's that?
I can't wait to play Madden.
Oh, yeah. Feels like we're on Gaming Corner again.
I know.
Honestly,
We're
dude.
back.
We're just fired up right now, dude.
Well, actually, one question before we do the official close, Michael.
Yeah.
The official close.
How do you feel about PGA now? You played 9. Obviously, take like the course with the
Yeah, tough
aside.
course, dude.
Like,
aside.
Because you saw
honestly-
when me and him played, it wasn't like that.
No,
with
yeah,
other players.
honestly, I could get into it.
You could get into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, you put me back at TPC.
I wasn't too bad. I got the
Yeah.
flow.
It was just obviously that green. I mean, who's gonna?
And I'm from over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, dude. It was
So,
tough,
like,
dude.
that was
very
pretty funny.
tough, dude.
That is.
But yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that as well. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe.
Gentlemen,
the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee
Who?
in costume, as well as the merch, downtimetv.com. Everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.